He asked, "What's our favorite bird or most wow bird?" And that's like asking a mother to choose her favorite child. So many are wonderful. I'd say that one bird I really wanted to see for a long time is a tropical member of the blackbird family. It's called the Montezuma oropendula. The Montezuma oropendula. It's like a crow-sized black oriole type thing, and they have a really amazing musical, bubbly, electric, complex call that I've read as being described as the sound of water flowing upwards, if you can imagine that. And I heard that sound in recordings, and I really wanted to see that bird. And when I got a chance to go birding in Mexico, I got to see these birds, and that was just wow.
What about you, Jim?
I was going to say the same thing. Next question. I'm not as big an avid birder as Dan is, and probably most of you, but most of mine is right here. I don't go out. Honestly, I don't go out on birding trips across the country or anything like that. But I will say that the prothonotary warbler that I saw down in southeast Arkansas several years ago was one of the most wow birds that I've seen. And it's just outstanding, just the beauty and the brightness of it. That was one that has always stood out on for me.
To follow up on that question, can each of you give us your favorite places to go birding here in Arkansas?
Oh, you think about it. Yeah, that's right. My backyard is my favorite place. I spend the most time watching birds in my backyard, and that's where I recommend everybody start watching birds, because that's where you're going to have the birds on the most regular basis, close up, and you can just sit there and study them and learn the birds before you go out into the forests and the fields to try and see them in more wild locations. But I would say one of my favorite places to go birding in Arkansas is Stuttgart Airport. And you wouldn't think of an airport as being a good birding location, but unlike other airports around the state, this one lets us birders go walking around near the runways, and they actually have some remnant grand prairie, a special tall grass prairie type found in eastern Arkansas. So there are some really good grassland birds like the painted bunting that you can see at Stuttgart Airport, as well as a really cool bird called the Smith's longspur. Now, if you saw it, you wouldn't think it's all that cool because it's a small, brown, streaky, sparrow-like thing. But it's an extreme habitat specialist found in clumps of a particular type of grass called 3-on grass, the short grass species. This grass grows along airport runways in Arkansas because they've disturbed the soil, and it likes that disturbed soil. But because Stuttgart Airport's the only one that lets birders go on it, that's the only place in Arkansas pretty much that you can see a Smith's longspur in Arkansas. And in fact, one of the best places in the country to see this bird because it has a pretty small range in the breeding season, just found in Arkansas and a few of our neighboring states.
What about you, Jim?
Well, probably one of my favorites, and I can't describe it like Dan did, but I love Petit Jean. And Seven Hollows Trail gives you a variety of terrain and so forth for finding different birds, and that's the area where I've seen the pileated woodpeckers for my list and so forth.